I walked into my wife's office to surprise her with lunch and found my sister straddling her in her chair, their tongues down each other's throats. I stood frozen, told her 5 words, and left. I hope it was worth it. She didn't even chase after me. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the lunchbox. I didn't even blink. I turned and walked out of that office like my bones were made of ice. On the street, the world moved on like nothing had just shattered. Cars passed. A woman laughed into her phone. Somewhere, a siren wailed faintly in the distance. But inside me, it was dead silent. I sat in my car with my hands, still clutching the paper bag I'd packed that morning. I remembered carefully cutting the sandwich into halves, placing her favorite fruit beside it, slipping a note inside that said, "You're the best part of my day." How pathetic. I didn't cry. Not right away. Not until I got home and saw her shoes still lined up by the door. My wife, my sister, 2 people who were supposed to love me, 2 people I'd have protected with my life. And together, they destroyed the one thing I thought was solid, my trust. How long had it been going on? I had questions, thousands of them, but no one to ask. The signs were there. Of course they were. But it's amazing what the mind chooses to ignore when the heart is desperate to believe. The late-night texts she'd hide, the sudden closeness between the 2 of them, how my wife had stopped talking about her day like she used to. And my sister, God, I trusted her. I grew up defending her, watching over her. She'd been through heartbreaks, messy relationships, and I was always the one who picked up the pieces. I never imagined she'd turn around and wreck mine. The next day, she called. I let it ring. Then she texted, "Please talk to me." It's not what it looked like. We didn't mean to hurt you, but they did. They hurt me in a way no apology could fix. I felt like a secondary character in my own life, betrayed in stereo. My sister showed up at my apartment a few days later. I didn't open the door. She knocked and knocked, finally sliding a letter into frame. I read it, against my better judgment. She said it started with conversations. Long, deep talks when I was at work. My wife had been lonely. My sister had been confused. It escalated. 1 kiss, then another, then a secret they both swore to keep. Until I walked in. She didn't apologize in the letter. Not really. Just explained. As if that would change the burn in my chest. And my wife, she stayed away. I guess she knew she'd already said enough without saying anything at all. The worst part wasn't betrayal. It was realizing how much of my love had gone unnoticed. How I thought I was building something real, when in reality, they were tearing it down behind my back. Eventually, I answered one of my sister's calls. I let her speak. I listened to trembling in her voice, the pauses where she expected me to jump in. I didn't. She said she never meant to fall for her, that it was confusing and fast, that she hated herself for it. I told her something I didn't expect to say. I forgive you, not because she deserved it, but because I needed peace more than I needed justice. Forgiving didn't mean forgetting. I told her I needed space, maybe forever. She cried. I didn't. I had no tears left. The divorce came quickly. My wife didn't contest it. In the paperwork, under reason, I simply wrote, irreconcilable betrayal. She sent a letter too. Unlike my sister's, hers was shorter. She said she never meant to fall out of love with me, but she did. That she didn't know how to tell me. That the moment I saw them, she realized she'd already lost me long before that day. She didn't ask for forgiveness, just wished me healing. I didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. Time passed in fragments. Mornings were hard, nights harder. I'd wake up expecting to hear her in the kitchen, laugh echoing down the hallway. But the silence stayed, and slowly I started to make peace with it. I started therapy. I joined a local writing group. I began rebuilding, not for her, not for revenge, but for myself. Every broken piece of me was still mine, and I owed it to myself to put them back together, no matter how long it took. One evening, I sat at a park bench watching the sunset bleed across the sky. A woman sat next to me with her dog. We chatted. Nothing flirty, just warm, kind. I laughed for the first time in weeks. It felt unfamiliar, but good. like opening a window in a room that's been sealed for years. I realized something then. Love can betray you. People can disappoint you. But the person you become afterward is your choice. I chose to be whole again. To be better, not bitter. The memories don't sting like they used to. They faded into a dull ache, like an old scar that tells a story. One I survived. If you ask me now what hurt the most, it wasn't the act itself. It was the erasure, knowing that in their secret world, I didn't matter. But now I do. I matter to myself. So no, I never got closure from them. I found it in my own 5 words. I hope it was worth it, because now I know I am.